Hello, everyone. I am back really quick. For those of you who did not get a chance to catch the live earlier, I did issue a question for those of you in my community that have some good godly wisdom. I issued a question for you all to answer. It is a question from someone in our community. And if you listen to the last 10 to 15 minutes of the live, you will hear the question and some of the feedback that I gave to the question, but I want y'all to chime in. The main topic is the thing of a young person saying that the Lord told them that who their spouse is and just how to navigate this season of life when they are not with that person and how they should proceed. It's a question that a lot of people have, so I want to hear y'all's feedback. And I will ask that you will be very thoughtful and prayerful in your answer. I'd love for some of you maybe to come live another day and we'll talk about it some more. But also, if you don't want to do that, if you could DM me your answer, or even if you send me a video reply and just let me know you don't want your reply published, you just want to share it with me, that's fine too. But we really should talk about this because I personally know people who the Lord showed them who their spouse was, and that's exactly what happened, and the rest is history. I also know people who thought they knew who their spouse was for years on end. They were 100% sure. And then things progressed and they realized that wasn't quite it. And the Lord showed them who their actual spouse was, and all is well. And then I also know people who are still waiting many years for someone that they believe God told them was their spouse. So it's very. And I think it would even be safe and wise to throw this out here as well. I also know people who, the fact that God would tell someone that someone is their spouse and blah, blah, blah before they actually met the person and any of that. I know people who that is completely against their theology, and it happened to. Or I know people who just staunch believe that's what God does, but that didn't happen for them. So I think it's a really good question for those of us who have some good Genesis 1:1 godly wisdom to dialogue about. And lastly, maybe you are someone who has one of these stories that you can share. Maybe you're someone who the Lord did tell. Maybe you went through some ups and downs and some loop-de-loops and everything came together. Or maybe you're someone who you realize that you shouldn't have wasted time thinking that a particular person was your person. I want to hear from you. And then second closing, I'll say this. Pastor Tammy Haddon's story comes to my mind now that I'm talking. And if you've never heard her story, maybe go to her page and check it out. And I'm not sure if I find it, maybe I'll repost it. But her story is that the Lord showed her that a particular person was her husband, but told her to leave him alone. And she will testify that she did not listen. She did not leave him alone. And so in their journey, she went through a lot and had to heal from a lot of things that the Lord would have had her to not have to deal with. That is her testimony. So I always remember that when I hear people say that they believe they know who their person is, but things aren't going how they think it should possibly go. And then I also think about one of my classmates from CIU, Miss Sandra. We were in a couple classes together, and after we graduated, somehow or another, we ended up following each other on Twitter. And she shared a little bit of her story with me that she shares with young women who are single. And her story is that the Lord told her husband's name before she ever met him. So she didn't know him to be pining for him or to be in a toxic relationship or any of those things. The Lord just told her his name. And then eventually, she met her husband who had the name that the Lord told her. I've actually heard more than one person say that. But ultimately, I believe that whether you believe God told you or not, whether you are correct or not, if you would do your diligence of leaning into your relationship with God, he will lead you. And not only will he lead you, he will take you the way of peace. He will offer you the opportunity to rest and trust in him, even though the temptation is to try to figure it out, try to make it happen, try to do this and try to do that. He will offer you the way of resting and trusting him and listening so that he can tell you things that you should do, and sometimes do or not do. And sometimes that will be through reading. Sometimes that will be an impression in your heart. Sometimes that will be something that your pastor says. Sometimes that will be something that another person of God says, or even it could be something random. Something random. But if you're listening for his voice, he will speak. So yeah, y'all DM me, let me know. Give me your honest take. And also let me know if you're someone who's willing to jump on live and share a little bit. And I know this is very, very much a God thing. This is very much a God thing, because y'all know, in all of my many, many years on the socials, this isn't a topic I get on here and talk about. Yeah. But I'm so happy that such a question came to me, and I believe it is an opportunity for us to lift each other up as a community, single folks and married folks, and folks of God, and share some wisdom with the next generation in the present, current single generation.